If you could have dinner with anyone living or deceased, who would it be and why? Now, it can be more than one. It can be a buffet. It can be separate dinners. It's really your choice how you answer it.
If I could have dinner with anyone, living or deceased, I'd love to have dinner with Noah.
Never
Isn't
had
that
one.
Isn't
That's
that
obvious, so obvious I probably could have answered myself. I should have thought of that one.
And
Anyone else?
asking some questions.
Sure, I bet you have
Actually,
a few.
might surprise you, I'd love to have dinner with Martin Luther.
Okay.
Because, in 2017, that's the year, that's the 500th anniversary of the Reformation, and the Reformation was a movement to call the church back to the authority of God's Word and spread the gospel around the world. Now, I wouldn't agree with all of Martin Luther's theology, and
Sure.
he mightn't agree with all of mine.
Right.
But nonetheless, he was one of those figures in history I look back as, wow, think of what he did. And he was so prepared to stand up in the culture of his day, regardless of any disagreements you might have with him. He was prepared to be bold, and I like that. And to think that one man could have the influence that he had, wow, I'd like to talk to him and find out more about him and understand him more.
Anyone else? Those are two biggies.
Anyone else?
Noah and Martin Luther.
Well, I should say Abraham Lincoln, shouldn't I? Because
Well,
after
it kind
all,
of circles in the whole interview. Yeah.
people have told me, particularly when I had darker beard and longer beard and darker hair, so many people over the years have told me that I look like Abraham Lincoln. In fact, I remember once I was walking down the street and somebody stopped me and they said, "Excuse me, I just can't help say this, but you look like Abraham Lincoln." And I said, "Yeah, he's one of my relatives." "You're related to Abraham Lincoln?" "Well, yeah, isn't everyone? Because we all go back to Noah, back to Adam." Anyway, I used it as a point of then talking about the Bible and talking about the message of God's Word. But, Abraham Lincoln is one of the presidents that really stands out in America. And I would love to talk to him and find out more about him. And he was prepared to be bold. He was a president in difficult times, too. Very difficult times. And he was a great man, and I would just like to find out more about him. But from a perspective of looking at some of the great Christian greats of the past as well, I would love to meet people like Moody, who started the Moody Church in Chicago. There's another man who stood boldly, and John Wesley and Charles Wesley. When I have gone to England a few times, I've actually gone to a place called Bun Hill Fields, which is sort of opposite where Wesley's chapel is, and the graves of great people are there. There's one tomb there, one man I would have loved to have met, and we one day will in heaven, right? And it's the tomb of John Bunyan.
Okay.
Because Pilgrim's Progress is a book that has influenced millions and millions and millions of people, and John Bunyan was prepared to go to jail and be jailed for his faith, and certainly suffered persecution, and yet look, he wrote a book that has influenced millions and millions of people, and a book that really relates the pilgrim's journey on this earth and the gospel message.
Would they all be at the same dinner or separate?
Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So we could have Martin Luther, Abraham Lincoln, Moody, Wesley, John Bunyan. Yeah, I think that'd be a very interesting dinner.